who are the best MMA content creators? Well, today, guys, we're going to be working out. I've got YouTube channels all around the screen, and we're going to drag and drop them into where I think they belong on this tier list. Obviously, S being the best YouTube MMA channels, all the way down to E basically being absolute trash channels. Bear in mind, not every MMA channel will obviously be on here, seeing as I can't watch them all, and I actually haven't watched a lot of them. This list mainly comprises of ones I've watched a little bit of, but I'll tell you if not. Uh, Mainly being the fact that I choose to focus a lot of my time watching the ones I really like rather than just spreading it out. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into this. And if you've got a different opinion, that's fine. Just leave it in the comments below. Obviously, my opinion will be very different to a lot of people's. And I will be quite critical in this, so don't take anything personally if the channels end up watching this video. Starting off with probably one of the most infamous people in the MMA media scene, Ariel Helwani. He's going in A. I'm putting him here. And the reason I'm putting him here is because Ariel Helwani is a good interviewer. Okay, he's a pretty good interviewer, and he's very fortunate as he works for a big network, and it basically means, seeing as he's a very reputable name, he can basically land an interview with any single person. This guy's interviewed like every single star in the UFC, more or less. He's interviewed Conor McGregor on his show. He's interviewed like basically every single star on his show, the MMA Hour. And although I think his show is good, I think it's too long, and he waffles on sometimes, and also some of his co-hosts, I just feel like a lot of them don't really add to it a lot. And and also the worst thing about Ariel Helwani is that he's basically an elite level instigator. This guy literally tries to like cause beef. I presume only because it makes his stuff do better, because they'll have to watch his clips where it happened or where they said something they shouldn't have. And he does kind of like to try and mince people's words. So he'll ask them something, they'll reply, and he says, "Oh, so do you mean?" And then he'll tell them something, and sometimes they fall into the trap and they go, "Oh yeah." Especially people that their first language isn't English, they are particularly vulnerable to this, because they actually think Ariel's trying to help them out a little bit. Maybe help them better explain their opinion or view, and he's actually just snaking them and making them sound like an idiot. So then they're going to get trashed on the MMA media, and loads of people are going to view Ariel's clips, and he's going to continue to stay relevant because obviously a lot of guys are catching up to him. So that's my opinion on Ariel. I think he's a good interviewer, but I feel like he's kind of not a great person at sometimes. He'll probably block me on Twitter after this. He seems to do that with anyone that has an opinion that isn't aligned with his. And considering the amount of power he has in the media, he underutilizes it. Like, you're getting the best interviews, bro. Like, be grateful, ask really pressing questions, and you can just kind of tell he's a studio kind of thing. It doesn't really have a lot of originality or authenticity. It's very, very generic, and it's very mainstream, and I'm not a huge fan of mainstream MMA stuff, to be honest. I think it's very cringe, and yeah, I'm not a huge fan of stuff like that. But anyway, Ariel, low A, I think that's fair. We move on. We're gonna stay on the bigger channels. I'm gonna go first. I'm gonna go for Volk. I'm gonna put him in B tier. I think we're gonna go high B for Volk, or maybe middle B. And Volk's best videos are usually the ones that are not to do with MMA. His cooking videos are good. I think they're the best thing on his channel. I think this guy's likable outside of MMA, and more like in cooking videos and like how to cook this, blah 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 tutorials. However, his prediction videos are fairly boring. He just kind of breaks down a really obvious breakdown of the fighter. He never really comes with any hot takes, and the favoritism is very apparent. If there's a CQB guy, he'll always pick them to win. He's like, that's my guy, so, I'm picking him. So, like, he doesn't really say why, and, like, if, it's a match they actually might lose, he'll never go against it. And why I do kind of understand that, I just feel like, come on, Volk, like, have a bit of a backbone, just be honest sometimes. And he doesn't really bring anything new to the table there, even though he is a champion. So it's fairly underwhelming. This guy should know a lot. And he has a fairly bad pick rate, I think. I think he's missed a lot of main events, that have gone to the underdogs and stuff like that. Maybe when other people have called it and stuff, and he hasn't. And his other best videos are definitely, he does like gym videos. They're always interesting, watching his training drills. He puts a lot of work in there. And he's got a well done channel. Whoever's doing it, they're doing a good job. So yeah, so props to that. I think like middle B. I think that's where he belongs. You know, he's got good cooking videos, and his training videos are pretty interesting and watchable. However, his prediction videos are bang average, especially for like a champion of his caliber. I feel like you could add a bit more like insider knowledge, or like kind of give your view on it, like as you know, world champion featherweight. You know, one of the goats of the sport. You know, top five fighter maybe. So yeah, there you go. So that's Volk. I think that's fair, but he's a really likable guy. So yeah, he shouldn't take that the wrong way. Moving on, Money Moicano. I feel like we kind of have to put him in A maybe. Like recently, Moicano has been making moves. I'm gonna put him above Ariel. Moicano has genuinely like become a full-time YouTuber. I don't really know what's going on. Like this guy's a fighter, and maybe he's looking. You know, he's 35. Probably not gonna have many fights left in the UFC, right? And this guy just like uploads a video. Like it seems like he does it daily. I think he might have daily uploads. This guy's always streaming. I see him in my notifications all the time, live streaming. He does breakdowns on every single guide, and he's funny. You know, fans like him. He's a bit more honest and maybe like, you know, less kind of like absolutely PG family friendly than Volk is. So he's a bit more entertaining to watch, and he's a bit more like, you know, you can tell he's quite honest and authentic, which is something that Ariel Helwani, I would say, isn't compared to him. And I'm pretty sure he does fight companions too. That is really good. I think for fans, that's one of their favorite things. You know, fight companions. Obviously, I appreciate that's going to be hard for Volk, but Ariel has no excuse. I don't know why he doesn't do them, or maybe he does and no one just watches them. So I don't know. But yeah, I think Money Moicano is making moves. His channel is growing really, really quickly. And I'm not surprised. It's a good channel. I watch some of his videos, and I tune into his live stream every once in a while, and I don't regret it. So yeah, Money Moicano is in A. Yeah, there we go. Moving on, we have our first independent, shall I say, YouTuber. I'm going for Lucas Tracy. Now I'm putting Lucas Tracy in B. I'm putting him in middle B, and I think he can't be mad at that, because the thing with Lucas Tracy is he's quite polarizing. Okay, so he basically does his video, and in the title already, it probably turns a lot of people off the video, because he's very, like I said, it's polarizing. He'll be like, this fighter will annihilate him, and here's why. Or it'll be like, this guy's going to fight this guy, and it won't even be close. It's never like he's going to scrape a narrow decision. It's just one or the other, you know. It's go big or go home with Lucas Tracy. And I mean, I respect he's got the courage to go out and make picks. However, this guy's pick record recently, it is awful. He's genuinely got a curse. Do not listen to this guy's main event picks. They're awful. Recently, anyway. I'm not trying to say it for all time. And I think a part of it may be due to the fact that he's picking a lot more favourites now. And it might just be to do with the fact that a lot of people troll him for the Gan pick. And obviously he picked Gan. He made a lot of videos on that, I think. I don't know. I haven't watched them all, but I've seen some of the thumbnails and the titles. And obviously Gan got destroyed in that fight. However, I'm not going to lie, I backed Lucas Tracy in that, because I thought Gan was going to win as well. I thought he was going to beat Jones in a big upset. And I can completely understand why he did that. And I think people trolling him, and I know he got like a big Reddit post trashing him. So I think that knocked his confidence a bit to maybe go for crazy underdog wins and stuff like that, or crazy shock fires. So he just started picking favourites, maybe. And, you know, we all know that favourites aren't doing so well in the last, you know, basically this year. This seems to be the year of the underdog. And then he really released a YouTube video recently saying MMA is unpredictable this year. Here's why. So he basically it's like a coping mechanism for getting loads of picks wrong. However, you know, anyone on this channel knows that a lot of people did pick Sean O'Malley to win, including me. A lot of people did pick Sean Strickland to win, including me. So, you know, there you go. It's not always impossible. I feel like it's a bit of a cope. But other than that, you know, he has got a lot of good breakdowns. And yeah, that's all I really have to say about Lucas Tracy. But yeah, I think, you know, I can see why he's got 40k subs, you know, does decent videos, but yeah, it's just what you'd expect, you know. It's a decent channel. That's why he's in B. You know, Volk's a decent channel, Lucas Tracy's a decent channel, but yeah, I think that's fair. We move on. Chael Sonnen's going in E tier. I do not like Chael Sonnen's channel. He doesn't watch MMA fights, I don't think. I think this guy genuinely just lies for his teeth. He'll talk about a fight in the vaguest of terms. It's almost like he's Googled the fight card, like UFC, say 293, and he's seen the results, because he genuinely sometimes he talks about a fight, like a main card fight that everyone's talking about, and he'll try and describe it, and he's extremely vague, and he's very careful with what he says, and it makes me feel like the reason is he hasn't watched the fight. Okay, he's like, so yeah, they were fighting, and he was fighting, he was fighting good, and he got the finish, and it was a knockout. So like, it just makes me feel like he doesn't actually watch as many fights as he does anymore. And I feel like he does make stuff up as well. This guy said a lot of random things. Some of them have been true. He's predicted things months in advance. However, he has predicted things that have never happened, or he's claimed to know them, and then he won't give his source, and then it turns out to be false. So he probably just made it up. But yeah, I don't like Chelsea on his channel. I find him hard to watch because he has this like, when like you're asking like your granddad for like he's telling you a story and he's kind of losing track of the story and where it's going. That's the kind of vibe that Chael Sonnen gives. He kind of forgets where he's going with a story or an explanation, and it's just really slogged out. And yeah, that's why he's there. I'm sick of the Manscaped sponsors. Chael, please stop them. And that's all I have to say about Chael. I don't think it's a good channel. So yeah, I think that's fair. There we go. Moving on, We Want Picks, A-tier channel. We Want Picks is probably the best betting channel on YouTube, I'd say, for MMA. Two guys, Jacob and he might actually be called. He's called. I think he might actually be called Mario. I'm not even kidding. I forgot his name, but he's the guy with the grey hair. He's not called Mario. It's a fairly Italian name though. But very very dynamic group. They have good picks. They do like near daily content every other day more or less, and they do. What I like is they have a schedule. They stick to it. They do it, and it's fun content. I watch most of it. They give good reasoning for their picks. However, I do think Jacob is the better, and that's why I can remember his name, because I think Jacob has better predictions. I think he has better picks and breakdowns. He does lock of the week, and I get why, because he can pick good underdogs. This guy's got a really good underdog record, and as someone who's into kind of like prediction, breakdown, betting, stuff like that, I think it's really impressive that he's getting so many underdog wins. So props to him. He's in my opinion, one of the best UFC bettors, if not the best. And yeah, quality to him and the other guy as well. They're both fun. They have like a good friendship dynamic. It's good to watch. They're very watchable. And they do live stuff, so people can comment if you're subscribed. They have like a subscription service to their betting, so I don't subscribe to that obviously, but I mean, from what I've seen, no one complains about it, so it can't be that bad. But good channel, good picks, good breakdowns. They do like reaction fight vlogs and stuff, and it's just really well done. You can tell they actually are passionate about it, they care about it, whereas some of these people that we're going to get into, particularly media outlets, they care less, and you can tell, or they just don't care at all. So we're going to get there, but I think A's fair. They're one of my favorite UFC oriented channels. And yeah, we move on. Bedtime. I like Bedtime. B. He's with Volk, okay? Now, I'm putting Bedtime here. Actually, I'm going to put him here, sorry, Bedtime. Because Bedtime has good videos, and he has, like, unique ideas and stuff, and it's stuff that other channels aren't doing, so I do respect that. However, the guy's using PowerPoints, okay? Now, listen, he doesn't want to show his face. I completely understand that. I get that. You can only go so far with the PowerPoint though, like he literally has in some of his titles brackets PowerPoint, and like obviously he's being honest and truthful, so they know what they're getting when they click on it. I just find it funny though, it's a PowerPoint. He's done a YouTube video on a PowerPoint. It works though, his audience love it, so I'm not going to fault him for that. And he has some funny videos, and I remember his original videos. He was doing good matchmaking in UFC. That's kind of how he built his channel. I remember his rise to fame, and yeah, good matchmaking back in the day. And he still has good video concepts for the most part. So yeah, enjoyable channel. Always a good watch. If you see a video you like, click on it. I guarantee you wouldn't regret it. We move on. Rigo. Rigo's going here. The reason being is Rigo is mainstream's worst nightmare. He does really random videos, but some of them are really funny. He does like ones to do with like fake lore, stuff like that. The Stipe Miocic gnome video and the investigation videos. And I think they're funny. Obviously, they're very kind of like satire comedy, unique. I think they're funny, and Rigo's a nice guy. You know, this guy's chill. Um, he's really chill, and he does a lot of lives and stuff. He does fight companions, and he's not everyone's cup of tea. You know, but I think he's pretty funny for the most part. So yeah, good channel. Very random videos. You know, you never know what you're gonna get next. He's like mainstream's worst nightmare, like I said. But yeah, Rigo, high B. I think that's fair. We move on. Michael Bisping. He's going in like middle C. Okay, Michael Bisping, just I don't know. I'm just not a huge Bisping fan. Okay, um, his videos are very stale. They're just what you'd expect. And it's kind of like it just feels to Michael like it's show up and make a bit of money from YouTube, and that's what I think it is to him. He just states the obvious. He doesn't give any hot takes ever, which is annoying because he's a fighter. Like you should give the hot takes more than the people that aren't fighters who are getting like more fun predictions or a better analysis. Like, bro, you literally have first-hand experience in the field, and you're just being boring. But yeah, this guy gets baited on live chat all the time. I'm surprised he still goes on it. And yeah, don't really have much else to say. He doesn't control his channel. I think that's fairly obvious. He has an editor. They carry him. His editor genuinely makes like his channel watchable in the first place. They have good thumbnail creations, and they basically allow his channel to operate. Because Michael Bisping on his own, it would have the channel quality of absolutely nothing. So yeah, I think that's justified. Don't really have much else to say about Michael Bisping. Just bang average channel. There's better ones to watch, but he's not exactly terrible, is he? Let's be honest. Way better than Chell. We move on. The Weasel. Now, I'm going to put the Weasel here, okay? Because the Weasel actually has better analysis than Michael Bisping, which is ironic because the Weasel has never had a world champion, but clearly doesn't matter anymore. These UFC guys, they just actually have terrible predictions for the most part. But yeah, Weasel goes there. I think that's fair. He's very mainstream, you know. The Weasel is one of the most mainstream UFC channels. Probably going to get a load of dislikes for this because he is one of my subscribers' most watched channels or my viewers' most watched channels. But I'm just being honest. He does like you know what you're getting from Weasel. He does the same videos again and again, and you know whatever. So yeah, that's why the Weasel's there, and yeah, I think that's a fair one. Um, Sometimes good predictions, but he's missed a few good underdogs recently. And you know what you're getting with him, like I said, very mainstream channel. But yeah, fair enough. You know, he's making money, but do fight companions. Come on. We move on. DC. DC's better than Michael Bisping. He's more likable. Actually, Weasel's there. That's me. That's me on the Weasel. DC, there. I think that's fair. He does like one-on-one interviews with fighters a lot. Does sit down interviews. DC's likable. He's jokey. He's fairly fun. He is fairly deluded though. This guy's got clear favourites, and he basically goes into denial when they aren't doing well in a fight, or they're not performing, or anything like that, or they get flatline KO'd. He'll make excuses, but he's pretty funny, and also he does this thing where he kind of like monitors two fighters facing off, and they'll like speak to each other, and he'll ask them questions, and it's fun. You know, it's entertaining to watch. It's fairly fresh. A lot of places don't actually do that. They did that a while, like in the Conor Diaz in the I think it was the rematch. They did that a lot, and then it just never really happened again. But nice to see that DC's bringing that style of interview back. But other than that, yeah, I mean, it's just fairly mainstream, isn't it? It's fairly average. You know what you're getting. Similar to Bisping in other aspects, but he does do a few more personalised things, and it makes me feel like he's a bit more passionate about it than Michael Bisping, and he's not showing up to the paycheck as much, and he's just better at presenting things. So yeah, that's where he's going, and I think that's fair. We move on. BT Sport. We're going for D. The reason being, you know, they're a big company, so they're just trying to bully. If they had it their way, there would be no other rival MMA media company, and they could reap all the profits in. So we need to make sure that doesn't happen. However, because you know, independent ones like Lucas Tracy, Bedtime, the Weasel, like those are personal people that have a passion for UFC/MMA, and BT, they're just a massive corporation who want to make more money. They don't really care about it. So they get that Adam Catterall guy on, Nick P and Bisping. So already they're off to a bit of a losing start because Bisping's there. Nick P, genuinely, what does he add? He's genuinely, like, what does he add to the thing? He's just Nick P, you know? Just, what does he add? Please tell me. And Adam Catterall, this guy lands the best interviews. This guy's got one-on-one interviews with like some of the most interesting, famous fighters in the world, and he's boring. It annoys me so much. He'll just ask them, "How are you feeling? How are you feeling?" And this guy is a British merchant, okay? This guy makes literally his entire personality, or what he has of one, is the fact he's British. He'll be like, are you missing home? Because, you know, we have shortbread and biscuits when I get home, and I'm really looking forward to it. And like, he does stuff like that. You know, he just makes the fact that he's British a big deal, and it's his entire personality. And he's just boring. He just asks generic questions. You know, you'll fall asleep listening to him if you're tired. And I don't really have anything else to say other than the production value is really good, because obviously they're, you know, it's a multi-million-dollar company. But you know, they get D tier as well for changing their name to TNT Sports. Why? Just keep it as BT Sport. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But yeah, that's what I think about them lot. The three amigos, shall we say. You know, great production value, but bad cast. Because turns out all the best people are independent and they don't want to be on BT Sport. But, you know, there you go. BT Sport, you can hold D tier because that's where you belong, for the greedy media corporations. We move on. Adesanya is going here. This guy does breakdowns and, you know, they're fairly good. I can't fault him on them. And he does like fight reactions. But what annoys me is that like they just put a camera in the room and set it on record. Like, it's not like it's for the YouTube video. So he's just like on his phone and he'll miss like the main event, like flash KO. You know what I mean? He'll just miss it. Volk's guilty of that as well, actually, by the way, guys. He does do that as well. So, you know, that's annoying. And other than that, there's not a great deal of stuff. It's mainly if you're an Adesanya fan. So, you know, my subscribers will know this channel isn't obviously going to be catered to me. I'm not an Adesanya fan whatsoever. I'm glad he lost the belt. And, you know, if you like Adesanya, you're probably going to like this channel to be on your A tier, your S tier, whatever. But I do not like Adesanya personally. Not a big fan of him. And he does like training videos, but they're all fairly generic and short, and, you know, they just feel kind of like a cash grab, but less personality than Volk, I'd say. However, to be fair, his predictions are fairly good, so I'll give him that. So that's why he's not in D or E tier. So yeah. Now, it comes down to our final person. Now, who is S tier? Well, you've probably figured it out, haven't you? You probably know that it is, in fact, none other than the MMA Guru. Now, the MMA Guru is one of the biggest forces in the MMA media at the moment. You know, no one can discredit the work he's done. Very, 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 very big rise to fame. This guy's, you know, he's been through it all. This guy has been on the grind. He does basically a daily upload, and they're all at least like 15 minutes long, more or less. His breakdowns are good. He's got a lot of good underdog picks throughout the years. He had the Leon Edward pick. That was a really good one. He's had a lot of good picks. I'm trying to think now, and I've had a complete mind blank. He picked Pereira. So did I. But, you know, he picked him as well. That's just one I can remember. And, yeah, you know, does fight companions. He has the best fight companions on YouTube. That's just confirmed. He has genuine reactions. You can tell he genuinely cares about MMA. This guy knows people in the prelims. That all these Michael Bisping, he won't know them. DC won't know them. You know, MMA Guru will. So it's stuff like that that really sets him apart. Quality wise, you know, you've got a really good MMA mind here. He's basically trying to duck getting cancelled every day by the mainstream media. He's got beef with them more or less, but funny, entertaining channel. Good picks, good breakdowns for the most part. He has a really good pick rate. Really respect that. However, when this guy doesn't get a pick right, I have got to be honest, he does kind of cope sometimes. Basically says there's no other way. there's no reason you can justify, which is basically a massive cope because he didn't pick them. Like, he's basically saying you couldn't have picked O'Malley. We all know that isn't true. A lot of people were picking O'Malley just because he picked Aljo. But for the most part, good pick rate. I guess that's why he gets so annoyed, because he can see his pick rate is literally getting dented every time he gets the main event wrong. But yeah, I think he's the best MMA YouTuber right now. And I think there's a pretty fine margin. So I think this gap, this is a margin. Okay, this is a big gap and someone needs to fill it, or try to fill it, and I can't see that happening anytime soon. MMA Guru is the best MMA YouTuber, and I've just realised I forgot a few people. Luke Thomas would be in E tier. Dan Hardy would be probably in D tier as well. He's cringe and he has terrible predictions for a former fighter. And does anyone actually watch his 2-hour show? Don't think so. This guy has terrible, considering he's a fighter, terrible pick rate. So there's no credibility there. Like, this guy genuinely just picks the favorite like 95% of the time. Like, come on, bro. Like, have one fun pick a fight card, you know what I mean? But yeah, right, there we go. My dislike ratio on my channel is now probably destroyed. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Bear in mind, this is just my opinion. It's not set in stone, so don't cry in the comments. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe if you're new. Leave a like, and I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.